Hello everyone, I hope you had a wonderful day or wonderful night or wonderful evening wherever you are. Today I'm just gonna do a very quick comparison review of these two speakers, SVS Prime Bookshelf speakers with this Dali Oberon 1 mini monitor bookshelf speakers. They are very different in size. This one using the bigger bass driver, this one Dali Oberon 1 using the 5¼ inch bass driver, and this one has a soft dome tweeter. This one is a treated metal aluminum metal dome tweeter. So very different in design, but they are both two-way speakers, and SVS Prime Bookshelf retail for $500. Dali Oberon 1 retail for $600 for a pair of these speakers. So that's the only reason I'm comparing these two speakers, because they both in comparable price range in terms of a price and quality that you are getting in today's market. So overall fit and finish and quality ratio, they both have a very good quality build. But this Dali Oberon 1 has the vinyl wrap with this matte black or flat black front buffer. This one is a little flat looking black, and this Prime Bookshelf speaker uses piano gloss, a high gloss black quality that really shows the very nicely finished cabinetry and design of the speakers. Finishing quality of the cabinet is better than this Dali Oberon 1 speaker. And they both use the pin type attachment to the front buffer. This one is almost like 3/4 inch thick grill plastic frame. This one uses the regular speaker cloth and this nicely cut out places for the drivers. And this Dali Oberon 1 uses this kind of dark gray looking speaker clothing, and then nicely cut out hex type or honeycomb type cutout for this speaker for the grill itself, and Dali sign at the bottom. And sound quality is very subjective, and some people may like SVS sound, some people may prefer Dali Oberon 1 sound quality. So what I'm going to compare is the way that they reproduce the sound in this room, measure and perform and all that basic stuff. So sound quality wise, they are different sound signature, soundscape and scale is comparable. Power handling, SVS Prime Bookshelf is much better power handling. I can go all the way up to 11 or over 11 o'clock position of my amplifier, and it can still produce very deep and very responsive notes without bottoming out, but starting to show the strain. And in that range, when I get to over like somewhere in range of like 105 decibel loudness, but this Dali Oberon 1 cannot do that. It will bottoms out like before 10 to 11 on the volume control knob on my amplifier, and it will bottoms out. But I think this one can produce, if its bass is not too deep and heavy, this one Oberon 1 can still handle it. But tracks that I use has a really heavy bass lines with a deep bass, and this one will bottoms out. So only purpose of that test is I want to know how far they can go. It's nothing to do with sonic quality and that kind of stuff. It's just the basic test that I to find out how much they can handle the power. So power handling is this SVS Prime is much better, and also the clarity that when you get to that kind of loudness, this SVS Prime can still retain the clarity and detail, in the lower bass region. This Oberon 1 is still there, but starting to show a lot of restraint and a lot of limitation of the driver in that range. So if you want to play loud, and if you're going to pair with the subwoofer, DSP is a must for these kind of small speakers to be able to play and handle loud music with heavy bass, notes that you can play with them. Other than that, they both have a very good quality sound reproduction from bass performance to all the way to higher frequency. So Bass performance, SVS Prime is a more natural and neutral sounding bass quality. Oberon 1 have a little bit richer and a little bit thicker notes that Oberon 1 will reproduce if you play very same music back to back. That's where the difference is. So that is the only you can choose based on your preference and your taste and your pairing components. I like the both of these speakers that they can produce a sound with their certain music in my system, and mid-range to upper mid-range vocals and voices, they both very good, but some may prefer this Oberon one for the richer and tonally a bit richer sound signature, a bit warmer sounding sound reproduction from this Oberon one. From mid-range to upper mid-range area, this SVS Prime is natural and neutral sounding with very good frequency response with accurate sound signature with very musical notes. Oberon 1 will produce a little bit warmer and richer sound signature with overall tonally richer in that range, still providing good transparency and detailed sound, yet there is like a warmer sound signature all over in that range, or from bass to upper mid-range area. So that's where the difference is. And when you want to compare to upper mid-range to high frequency to brilliance, all that, they are very good at reproducing any kind of music with very detailed sound signature with very wide sound stage that they can provide in this room. The reason I slightly prefer this SVS Prime over this Dali Oberon 1 is SVS Prime has a little bit, like a more spacious and a little bit more area feeling in upper frequency range compared to this Oberon 1. Oberon 1 have a, stay comparable sound stage and skill that it can produce, but there are a little bit of a forwardness in upper mid-range to high frequency area if you compare these speakers back to back. I like both of these speakers. I slightly prefer this SVS Prime over this Oberon 1 because they can handle more power, it can play louder and more area feeling when I'm listening to my music. Sound signature and sound reproduction, Prime Bookshelf is more natural and neutral sounding. Oberon 1 is a little bit warmer, a tiny bit forward sounding in upper mid-range area and a little bit, less area compared to this SVS Prime Bookshelf. So that is depends on what do you like and what you prefer. So pairing components and everything I try with Class D amplifier, I try with my Class A bias, this PMA SX11 and all that. The way that it can reproduce a sound is significantly shows the difference between the components. When I was using the Laux G D50 digital analog converter playing these speakers back to back with my Class D amp, what I noticed right away was how much the SVS Prime can respond to pairing components. It totally shows the sound signature and sound quality and reproduction of pairing component, deliver it back to you with accuracy and real sound quality of pairing component. This Oberon one is almost as good, but this one has a slightly forward sounding and a little bit warmer sounding makes it less noticeable. Otherwise, they are comparable in soundscape and spacious sound. Scale and dynamics, this SVS Prime is better overall, better performer in my opinion. Fit and finish and quality ratio that you can get is probably very hard to beat in this price point. Only comes down to your personal preference. I can easily recommend both of these speakers to anyone who is looking for good quality sounding bookshelf speakers without spending a lot of money. I mean, you can get away with adding the $300-400 subwoofer and you get a countless hours of musical enjoyment for full scale and dynamic sounding bookshelf speakers. And sensitivity is Dali Oberon 1 is probably like 3 to 4 decibel less sensitive than this SVS Prime Bookshelf speakers. SVS Prime Bookshelf speaker will be a lot easier if you're gonna use with, low wattage, low power amplifiers. Oberon 1 is about same sensitivity as a KEF LS50 speaker, so I just want to make sure you know that. So if you're gonna play loud with the really good power amplifier, they both can play well, but please keep in mind Oberon 1 will bottoms out in certain loudness, and those are high and low points of these speakers. I don't really see a low point in this SVS Prime Bookshelf speakers compared to this Oberon 1, but they are cheaper as well. So in my opinion, this SVS Prime Bookshelf is better performer in terms of price, performance, and quality ratio that you can have in today's market. So highly recommend it. So that is my quick comparison review. Thank you for watching and happy listening.
Ich muss es gestehen, viel schöner als alles auf der Welt. Bei mir bist du schön, please let me explain. Bei mir bist du schön, means you're green, should I be birthday? Bei mir bist du schön, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land, I could say Bella, Bella, even say on the bar, each language hits me to tell you how grand you are. I try to explain, buy me a best of shirt, so kiss me, say you understand, share Ich muss es gestehen, viel schöner als alles auf der Welt. Bei mir bist du schön, please let me explain. Bei mir bist du schön, means you're green, should I be birthday? Bei mir bist du schön, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land, I could say Bella, Bella, even say on the bar, each language hits me to tell you how grand you are. I try to explain, buy me a best of shirt, so kiss me, say you understand, share the kiss me and say you understand. So kiss me and say you understand. So kiss me and say you understand. Show body. Should have been little bop, little diddle bop, diddle bop, diddle dee bop, bop, dee bop, dee do. Should never been bubble thing, nothing, nothing but a should have did a boop, bop, but a bit, bit, dee, bop, boop, up, boop, but a dee, bop, boop. Buy me a Mr. Shirt, please let me explain. Buy me Mr. Shirt means that you're grand show, but buy me a Mr. Shirt, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the leadership, but I could say bella, bella, even say for the bar each language only helps me to tell you how grand you are. I try to explain. Buy me a Mr. Shirt, so kiss me and say you understand. So kiss me and say you understand. So kiss me.